This video is hard to make. Hi beauty marks, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, my name is Pamela Ricardo. I am a personal development coach, health coach, personal trainer, and actress, owner of the Body by Pam fitness company, as well as Beauty Mark Coaching. This channel is all about looking at our scars and now calling those our beauty marks. Whew, I'm out of breath. You guys, so today is January 22nd, and tomorrow is a really tough day for me every single year. And it's because it is the 5-year anniversary of my mother passing away. So I wanted to bring this video to light because I feel like every year I want to make a video and I don't, because I'm not quite sure if I'm like even in the mindset to even give advice or talk about it, because let's be honest, it's the toughest thing in my opinion that someone can go through, is losing a parent or a child. So for me it's like, you know what, how am I ever going to be fully healed from something like that? I never will be. I will always hurt in some form or fashion, right? But I know I'm not the only one. There's so many of you out there who have lost someone, or a pet, or a job, or a relationship, or something that is taking you down a downward spiral in the name of grief. So I want to talk about that today. Let's talk about it. So in my instance, it was my mom passed away of heart disease. And I grew up pretty much my whole life with my mom being very sick. She was extremely depressed. And so I came in the house every day as a young lady and seeing my mom sitting on the edge of the couch, watching TV, scrambling to figure out how to pay bills, calling bill collectors, in and out of really bad relationships, and just never was balanced. And she took up on alcohol the latter years of her life, and it was to the point where I couldn't be around because I knew it would affect me if I was around it too much. And you know, I think a lot of times when we deal with grief, we also attach the words guilt to it for a reason. You do feel like I could have done more while they were alive, or, you know, was I really there for them the way I needed to be, or, you know, I wish I could have just said one more thing. And it's just all the things, especially when you lose someone to death. And a lot of times we lose people in other ways too, in relationships, and we're grieving the loss of somebody we thought we would know for our entire lives, like your partner, your spouse. And you know, it's not easy. It's especially not easy when you're not surrounded by people who have been through what you've been through. And to be honest, no one has been through what you've been through, because every experience is unique to you, you know, and that person meant something to you. And it's something that no one else will understand. So grieving is hard for that reason. I believe the first week or two of her passing, I spent a lot of time sleeping and staying in the dark. I would come home, I would close all my blinds. I was pretending to be okay for my clients because I didn't want to lose my business, because that was the only money I was making. I was a personal trainer, and I was really into my acting career around that time too, which is really crazy because during that time my business was booming. My acting career, I was like moving up the ladder. And so everything was going good in my life as far as career went, and I've always been very career driven. And it was amazing to me how quickly that no longer mattered to me. And I decided that I needed to take a step back from everything. I didn't do it immediately, but I started to feel myself being less and less interested in the things that once upon a time gave me so much joy. And I saw myself changing, you know, the first year definitely. I was lashing out at people who I didn't think were there for me during my hard times. I would see people on Instagram having the best time of their life that I thought I was cool with, and they didn't even text me, you know, sorry for your loss, which is the most annoying thing you hear when people are, you know, reaching out to you after a death. But they don't know no better, because guess what? Before I lost my mom, I didn't know how to really say. I lost my brother too a few years prior to that. And that was my first time dealing with a very close loss, right? And then losing my mom, I think for me, it was just like, I kind of saw that after I lashed out, I saw that people don't know how to deal with your grief because they haven't experienced it yet, right? Like when I lost my sibling, I was not really into my acting industry yet. I was still kind of introverted. I was living in New York studying film and TV, so I didn't have a big community. But when I lost my mom, I had a community, and I expected more of them. And It's fair and unfair, and I will always feel that way because people don't know how to react to your loss because they haven't experienced it, or like I said earlier, your loss is unique to you. Don't beat yourself up during this time. Don't beat yourself up when you need to sleep more. Don't beat yourself up when you're walking down the street and you get this overwhelming feeling like you're about to faint and your stomach drops because you just remembered again how something so terrible just happened to you. I literally would just be in the car and all of a sudden I would just think about it and my heart would stop and my stomach would drop. And it just was like, whoa, it was like crazy. There's no words to describe it. It was crazy. Don't be mad at yourself when you don't want to be bothered with nobody. Don't be mad when people want to come give you a hug and you don't really even want one because you know the hug means you're about to cry again. You know, during this time, there are a few things that I know I did that were coping mechanisms because I really just needed to create some kind of balance in my life because it was going off the rails. The first thing that I did was I journaled. I had to let my feelings out. I had to say exactly how it felt for me to no longer have her in my life. I had to write it down. Even the stuff that I really didn't even want to say, I had to say it because she and I didn't have the best relationship. So to those of you out there who have had strained relationships with people who have passed on, I get it. That might be the toughest thing to handle because it's one thing when you really was tight with somebody and they passed away because you got good memories. But it's another thing when they've passed away and you don't have that many good memories. So I say this to say, find the peace by journaling. Letting all of your thoughts out of your subconscious onto that paper. Journaling is a lifesaver. I remember doing that. I remember sleeping and letting my body just rest. But what I also did is I went for walks by myself. Lots of them. On the treadmill, outside, whatever. I went for walks. And then I lifted weights. And I just really got into fitness even more than I ever had in my life. Because I just needed to get my mind off of the pain. And when you're working out and you got your earbuds in and you can stay focused, it takes your mind away from the pain just for a little while. The next thing I want you to do is get in your Bible. I don't care if you don't read your Bible. Get in your Bible, open it up, whatever passage it pops up on, whatever you open that Bible to, read your Bible. I found during that time, I needed God more than ever. I think I had started to stray from him a little bit because I thought I had everything under control. And whoa, when my life went out of control and there was no one around that understood me, all I had was God, right? So I say this to say he will never give you more than you can handle. Never. As scary as it sounds to lose someone you love and not feel like the world is over and how do you keep going, just know if God wanted you to not be here, if he was done with your mission, you wouldn't have woke up today or any other day. So remember that he will never give you more than you can bear. I want you to work on getting your mindset around knowing you can trust him to get you through your days. The next thing I want you to do is speak to a grief counselor. This video is hard to make. I denied my grief counselor because I thought, I don't need that. I can do it by myself. And I look back now and I'm like, no, I needed someone who didn't know me, who wasn't trying to over-console me, to just speak to me and explain to me and I just needed it. So when they offer you a grief counselor, if you lost someone, please take it. Please take it as long as you need to. Just take it because you're going to need guidance during this time and understand the stages of your grief. And the stages are what they are, but like you're not going to go through all those stages in a row. No one's perfect. You're not going to go through this and then this and then this and then this. They're all going to hit you at different times. Hell, there's days that I'm just chilling and I still bust out into tears. You can't erase someone you loved. Whether the relationship was good or bad, you only get one mom. You only get one dad. You know, you only get one of that person you lost. You know, they were unique and they were a part of your life and you shared things with them and they shared things with you. So not having them and knowing that you can't pick up the phone and call them ever again, you're going to need grief counseling and a community of people that get it to talk to, because you can't stay isolated the entire time. You just can't. The thing about grief is it never goes away, right? But how do you cope with it for the rest of your life? Every year, does it get easier? I wouldn't say easier, but it becomes more realistic every single year. Tomorrow's the 5th year. As you can see, I'm still emotional about it, right? But I remember when it first happened, I would have breakdowns like every day. Now they're a little more sporadic, just to give you hope. But the thing that, helps you deal with the grief is knowing that you still have divine purpose. And you're not perfect. And sometimes you learn a lot about yourself when you're grieving. When you're losing a job, or when you're losing a person, or you lost a relationship, you'd be amazed at what you'll learn about yourself while you're healing yourself, or while you're healing in general. You will learn how strong you are, which translates into raising your self-esteem, because everybody couldn't handle what you just handled. Remember that. There are some people whose capacity is not like yours. So be thankful you have that capacity to grieve. To grieve means you have loved. That's beautiful. You learn that you can pick yourself right back up, and maybe you're not the same version of you, but maybe that's what's supposed to happen. I learned so much about myself during my grieving process. It made me look at life like, how can I help people? Being an actress, love it, still do it, right? Fitness, that was the business I created while I was pursuing acting, because you gotta still make some money. And I remember meeting my clients and seeing my clients' transformations. And their transformations weren't just physical. They were mentally changing, and their mindset was changing, and their confidence was growing, and they were becoming different women before my eyes. But I don't think it fully hit me in that way until I was going through what I was going through. I started to see people at their heart level. I think all the turmoil I went through, all the judgment I felt towards others, and judgment towards me from other people because I wasn't grieving fast enough, in their opinion, I started to look at people different. And I started to look at people more genuinely, and I was seeing that people's lives were changing right before my eyes because they were learning to take care of themselves. And then I decided that that's a gift, and I want to hone in on it. And that's when I became a life coach, and helping people change their lives, change their careers, make business plans for themselves, change how they see themselves in the mirror, all the things, right? And that is how I found my purpose during the darkest time of my life. God revealed my purpose. I think I can go on to different parts with this over in part 1 or part 2 or part 3, because grieving is just not easy to explain. But I say this to you, if you're watching this video, you take your time. You don't let nobody rush you. If someone's rushing you and they don't think that you should be sad still after a year or 2 years or 5 years, you need to check that. Tell them I am allowed to grieve as long as I like. You lost someone that you can't get back. And unless they've dealt with it, and doesn't even matter if they have, you have your own journey. You're allowed to heal how you want to heal. And as long as you're not hurting anybody in the process, if you need time to yourself to breathe and to stop overtaxing and overworking yourself to get your mind together, you got to put you first. Grieving taught me to put myself first. Money didn't matter anymore to me like that. God is so good, he still provided for me. The career didn't matter for me anymore, because honestly, that's a story for another day. A lot of the things I did, I was just trying to prove to my mom that I knew how to be successful. And, I know she still watches over me. And just like your loved ones watch over you too. But if you're grieving right now, you take your time and you heal. And if you need someone to speak to, please see a grief counselor. And if you've been to one and now you're ready to, get some more pep in your step and start moving forward in your life, because you've been holding yourself back because you have not fully forgiven yourself for how long you've grieved. Don't have to forgive yourself for how long you grieved. You're allowed to grieve now, today, if it was 10 years ago. But if you need someone to talk to, I'm not a grief counselor, but I am a life coach. And I do specialize in helping people turn those scars into beauty marks. Because what you went through, what you're going through right now is going to change you. It's going to change you forever. So if you need help maneuvering what that looks like, please email me at beautymarkcoaching@gmail.com. I want to help you. I want you to see what you've been through. It's not going to take you out. I know it feels like it today, but it's not going to take you out. It's going to make you stronger, Teflon strong. And one day you'll be able to help someone. One day soon you'll be able to help someone. So, thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. Like I said, tomorrow's the anniversary, 5 years that my mom has been gone, and I am a new woman, and I am okay with how long it took me to grieve, and I'm okay with all the turns that I made and all the things I said and all the things that I did while I was healing, because I was healing, and that's what my journey looked like. So don't judge what yours looks like. It's gonna be like this, and that's okay, because loss is not easy. But guess what? You're still here. God still woke you up this morning, and He's got a mission for you, tailor-made for you, and this new version of you that's just a little bit stronger now because of what you just went through. So anyways, thank you so much for watching Beauty Marks, and I will see you next time. Remember, our scars are our beauty marks. Bye.